What ho everybody, Ian here with another report on my Gauge O Guild virtual exhibition layout project. This week we're going to talk about something a little bit different. As you know, I am creating my own fictional railway system, and as such, a fictional railway system needs its own signs and such like platform signs, lettering on the sides of locomotives, the brake vans that I've got. Maybe a wagon or two will get a fictional livery. So now I could do the easiest thing to do for anybody would be to nip into your old graphics program and type out a few words and just print your own decals on a printer. But no, that's not good enough for me, because I call myself a graphic designer. I went to art college for graphic design, and I spent the best part of a quarter of a century doing graphic design, doing building signs for buildings and such like. So I have my own ideas of what I want, and Helvetica, Universe and Times New Roman won't cut it for me. So I've spent the last couple of days in my graphics program on my iPad called, quite naturally, Graphic, and been manipulating some text and been coming up with some interesting ideas, and I thought I'd share those with you so that you can see that it's actually not that difficult to do a little bit of manipulation of words and graphic items. You might want to have a go at this yourself. And then after I've gone over that, we'll talk about this that arrived on my doorstep the other day. I'll give you a quick look and a quick review of James Hilton's Compendium, which has been well worth the read. So let's get on and start manipulating some text. So let's start with the lettering for Tetney, my terrier. I'm going to create a decal for the side tanks on this, much as like Stepney had the wording Stepney painted on the side of his tanks. I'm going to have Tetney painted on the side of mine, so I need a decal for that. So what we do to start with is we convert our text to outlines or maps we convert to curves in other graphics programs. But what we do is we change this from a text item. It now becomes a graphic item. So we now just start to manipulate those nodes on the corner there. You can see I'm deleting nodes and then just moving other nodes to create a new form. As you can see, it's easy to lop off. I've lopped off one serif there, and now I'm just selecting the nodes on this side and deleting those, and then selecting a node and just moving it with keystrokes. So I'm using the arrow key on the keyboard, and I'm making a note of how many times I actually move that. So I move the other nodes that I'm moving by the same amount. That means everything should end up square. And it really is this simple, just deleting and moving nodes. You can see this is not being sped up. I'm doing this in real time. Nothing much to it at all. Of course, letters being symmetrical, I hadn't realised at the time, but I could have selected the nodes that were symmetrical to each other and moved twice as many nodes at one time as I was doing here. But I picked that up later, and you'll see that later on I was actually selecting more nodes and working twice as fast, I guess. Now, let's work on a drop shadow, because drop shadows are pretty important in the railway world. Just look at this one, this letter on the side of the tender of Mallard, for example. That's just beautiful. So we start with our letter form, which is just a simple T. And what we're going to do is duplicate the letter T, because we need a shadow, which is going to be exactly the same. So we'll select the T, duplicate it, then change the colour, so we've got the shadow. No, it doesn't matter what colour the shadow is, I've just made it red just for the heck of it. So then we're going to, what we're actually going to do is we're just going to mess around there and get the position where we like it, and then we will select the letter again and duplicate it again, because once we've done the next step, we will need a letter to put in the place. So there we go, there's a second letter. Now what we do is we select the combine menu here, and what we are going to do is we are going to subtract one graphic element from the other, so we will leave the shadow. So combine, subtract, and there is your letter with a drop shadow. Seriously, that was it. It was as easy as that. Of course, once you get there, you can start messing with the shape of your drop shadows. You see, I added a 45-degree line there on the corners. You can see at this point, I added an outline to the drop shadow, which is another nice little touch. Then I added an outline to the letter as well. So all this can be easily and simply done. Now, as we've done some node removal, now we're just going to do some modification to tweak this letter a bit. We're going to change the size of the serifs. So I'm changing the letter to outline mode this time, just see if it makes it any easier to see what I'm doing. So you'll notice also that I've learnt that as this is a symmetrical letter, I can select the points on either side of the letter and move them all at the same time. So I'm working twice as fast, basically. So move them up 10 keystrokes, and then I'm going to move the inside edge of the serifs in 10 keystrokes, keeping everything, all the amounts, the same. So it really is as simple as I'm showing you here, and I'm not speeding this up at all. I'm just selecting everything and just moving nice and easily. All you got to do is remember to move everything the same amount. So, and you can see the letter is starting to take on something of a different form now. So I'll just move those in. We'll move this side in. So I'm only doing this to show you how easy it is. I don't know if I'm actually going to use this on the layout, because I preferred the sans serif typeface that I was created for the Tank of Tetney there. But this is just showing you the relative ease of which text modifications can be done, and you can create your own typefaces and with your own special touch. So we're just moving these last nodes up, and we are then basically finished with this. And so what I'll do now is we'll pull in the original letter, and you will be able to see how different it is. It's a subtle difference, but it's most definitely different. And now we can take a look at these other modifications that I've done. Now, don't forget that I modified all these from that one same letter. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Perhaps you found it useful and you are curious to try it yourself, because it really is as easy as I showed you in that section of video there. So while you were watching that, I was reading this, Compendium, a series of modelling reflections. Following on from Chris Mears' Prince Street magazine last month comes this selection of personal thoughts from James Hilton and his Paxton Road blog. The book is a selection of James' favourite and thought-provoking blog posts, some of which made me think. And then again, Paxton Road blog often makes me think. So, yeah, seeing the blog posts on the printed page gives them a new dimension. It's nice to feel pages instead of looking at a screen. You know, you can't flick through an iPad. Initially for me, the feeling was a little odd. You know, when you're so used to reading a sans serif typeface on a screen, as you do with the Paxton Road website, then the printed word can feel awkward and a bit clunky. In fact, at the start I felt the type size was at least 2 points too big, but once I got used to it, it was okay. I got used to reading again. That was good. I guess that tells me that I probably don't read enough books. So there's a varied selection of articles. There is, of course, a layout concept, and as well as many scenes from his layouts for you to study: Pont Doulas, Beaverbrook, etc. I myself have always been drawn to his creation of Wrexham Central Station on a Mosslander shelf from IKEA, and it's in here too. So, I mean, I spent 2 years at Wrexham Art College, and so Wrexham Central was, well, it was a very different station back in those days to what it's depicted in James's model. But, you know, it's still Wrexham, and I still feel connected to this minute model of his. The magazine contains no blow-by-blow layout build descriptions. In fact, at one point he actually rails against them. You know, he asks for more personalised observations in layout writings. You know, not how did you do this, but like, why did you do this? And I like this. You know, I like to read about people getting inside their own heads to analyse their works. Case in point is when he waxes lyrical for a page about a scene on one of his layouts. Marvellous. More people should do this. In fact, I think I said when I commented on Chris Mears' book the other week that there's room for many more publications like this. I mean, I'd read them, because I stopped reading American model railway magazines 15, 20 years ago, because I just got bored with reading the same tired formulaic articles. There was little personality in them, and to be honest, even English magazines are going that way a bit too. So even that the writers do seem a little bit more likely to leave the personality in the articles of railway modeller than model railroader, or perhaps that's just my English sensibilities. I don't know. You know, I think the hobby needs another Ian Rice, perhaps. You know, well, yeah, I'm just remembering that way back in the late 1970s, Ian C. Robinson had a series of constructional how-to model articles in Railway Modeller. Oh my lord, I'm remembering those now. There was more passion in those articles with his like lovely little sketchy illustrations. There was more passion for the hobby in those than in 25 years of model railroader. So all in all, you know, this is a good read. Sadly, the print run has sold out. Perhaps some of the other readers of the Compendium would be inspired to put their own thoughts onto the printed page. I mean, would anybody be interested in some writings on schemes for micro model railway layouts? I've got many of those to share. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in to this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoy my ramblings. And well, We will talk to you again next week when we might have another report on some proper layout progress, because as I speak to you, some glue is setting in the garage on the layout baseboards. So we will talk to you next time. Take care. Happy modeling.